Hey there everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm back with another episode of me reading some Reddits. I'm sure you love them at this point. We have become really nice and close, and I am so happy to see those people who come back and watch my videos. Thank you so much. I have already grown to 150 of you, and I'm super excited for what else is coming. So let's finally get started. Today we're reading some True Off My Chest Reddit stories that has me questioning everything. These are weird and I'm so ready to share them to you, so let's get started. I'm suddenly grieving not having my dream wedding. That already sounds so horrible. Alright, let's see. I, 31 female, will be getting married to my fiance, 35 male, in the latter part of this year. I've always dreamed of the garden wedding surrounded by nature and flowers. Lots and lots of flowers. My family would be there and my soon-to-bes will, along with our friends and other loved ones. When my husband asked me to marry him, I was so excited. We started planning the making necessary reservations. I was so excited. However, in the past couple of months, something's happened too personal to share, and we were forced to change our wedding plans. We ended up deciding elope and get married in City Hall instead. Quick and easy. I mean, I know the whole charade isn't important. What matters is that we love each other and getting married for the right reasons, but sometimes it still saddens me. I know that a wedding was supposed to be a special moment, and adjusting to something a little bit low-key can feel like a loss, which I completely understand, and I'm actually in the same situation. This also means you just have to be okay even if you're just still marrying to the love of your life. You have to be okay with that. But listen, I just decided for myself that even if it doesn't happen this time, I am more than welcome to play that wedding again in years later. This doesn't have to happen right now. It doesn't matter if I'm not financially stable. I'd rather not spend a lot of money on the wedding because I feel like that's kind of a waste of money, especially if you were trying to rush it, right? That's too much money, and if you want to really have the most beautiful dream wedding, you need to prepare for it. So if you spend that time and actually prepare for it in next following years, it doesn't have to happen this year. You could elope and then play the wedding later on. I know a lot of people are not okay with that. I am definitely okay with that because my husband's family, for example, is in a different country and my family is in this country, and currently we can't celebrate together, so we decided that we're gonna have a small wedding here with my family and a bigger wedding, more generous, and my dream wedding, right, later on. That is also completely okay. Let's read the whole story, and I completely understand what you're going through. Yeah, I did not have my dream wedding last year, but I do have hope that I'm going to be able to celebrate more the way I want it in a few years. Just have to be patient at this point. That is just my thought on that. Things that would remind me that should have been our wedding just makes me cry. Like, for example, I heard the song we're supposed to have at our wedding dance as married couple, and that made me tear up instantly. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Not because of nostalgia, but because of the sadness that we won't have that moment anymore. You can. If you take a step back, you could definitely play your wedding again. Once you're ready, once you are emotionally stable, financially stable, and etc. I don't agree that it has to happen that time, you know? Like, it doesn't have to have a set time. Especially for a wedding, we just have to look at it a bit more open-minded in that situation. You could replay your wedding at any time with your husband, at any time. It doesn't have to be that time when you are engaged in the stuff. So yeah, listen, anytime. It's never too late. Now I know that it's never going to happen and just hurts. I'm really sad that you're thinking this way. Literally sad. I'm sorry. I feel like getting married should be happy and exciting. It is super happy and exciting. I mean, I'm going to be marrying the love of my life, so it should be okay, right? I really, really hope that you could focus on what you can make happen at this moment. It's not going to be the original version right now, but it's going to happen if you are putting your mind to it in a few years. Like I said, I'm just gonna repeat myself. It is okay if you celebrate your wedding later. It doesn't have to be right now, because it does seem like it's going to make you really happy. I feel so shallow for having those emotions, so I have no one to tell these to. At this moment, what I would recommend is think of what I would suggest, right? Allow yourself a chance to grieve this change of plans, right? It's okay to feel conflicted about it. That is completely normal. The wedding might look as you originally hoped it to be, but the love you committed to share with your partner that day is what truly matters, and you obviously could replace it with another day. It doesn't have to happen that day. Just live in the moment at this moment. The way I just said that makes no sense. Guys, let me know what you think about this. Do you agree with me, or you would also be really disappointed? I know not a lot of people agree with me, which I find okay, understandable, but that probably doesn't matter for me too much. Doesn't have to happen once, Let's read some comments. You can always have a nice wedding on your anniversary, like a 10-year anniversary. I didn't have a wedding either. We just signed papers. I had a choice of a $100,000 wedding or a $100,000 ring. I chose a ring and no regrets, lol. I'd rather have a nice ring I'm wearing for the rest of my life than one-time party feeding a bunch of people. That is also a really, really, really good point. Or you could just replay your wedding later on. I'm going to literally have two weddings. The wedding that I had is sort of like an elopement that was really small. We literally did not spend much money, and we still had a good time. But I know that I am still waiting in about 5 or 6 years. I'm gonna replay another wedding, and it's going to be beautiful the way I want it to be. So yeah, don't feel sad about that. I feel like OP at this point is just getting really rushed into getting married, and she wants it to be right there and then to be perfect. But like I said, just matters that you marry the right person, and you could replay that at any time, even in 2 years, in 10 years, in 30 years. It doesn't matter. All right, guys, let's read the next one. My parents both having an affair while living in my house. I could already imagine how overwhelming and emotionally draining this could be for you. Let's read. My father has had an affair for 20 years, and he had a son together with the mistress. It started when he was rich, but his company is now bankrupt, so he moved together with me under the claim that he will help with my newborn baby. But I felt used by him and have no place to discuss my current situation. Here is what is happening right now. He's an immigrant and he knows very little English. He almost replied on me everything: getting a driver's license, applying to a bank, applying to an immigrant visa, and then even an entire email properly in English. However, at the same time, he never trusted me. Are you Slavic? Because this is so familiar. After I set up his bank account, he will change his login immediately so that I won't be able to track it. That's your child, sir. I know that because he relies on me to monitor his email account for all important information, including his immigrant application. I saw several emails change, notifications about his account change right after I wished him a happy birthday and a happy Father's Day. Have no intention to steal his money or anything, but I felt betrayed when I saw his actions. I have never hacked into any of his personal accounts and make use of any of his personal information. Yeah, I understand why you feel betrayed. He is making you do all that work, seemingly that he trusts you with your English, blah blah blah. He's like abusing you in that sense, using the situation that you're able to give him space to live. He's bankrupt, but then he doesn't trust you with his money that he probably doesn't even have. Like, sir, that's your daughter. Why do you feel so protective of your accounts? Okay. Besides, I noticed he has several hookup website sign-up emails while living in my house. What? The son he had with his mistress applied for a school close to my home. My mom told me that they three plan to meet happily together in new semester. This week, because it's his birthday, he asked me for a birthday gift. It won't be more than $100, he said. But immediately after I gave him the birthday gift and helped him translate all his immigrant documents into English, he signed up for another hookup website and changed another credential. I know he's my father, but this is too much to take. He is weird. This is crazy. I don't know how to feel about this. You're caring too much at this moment. You have a baby, newborn baby. You have your father that doesn't trust you but makes you do all that work. He's asking you for money and he's keeping all that money away from you by changing all his personal accounts information. Sir, what are you doing? You sound so childish. That is weird. At the same time, my mother is also dating someone else. Both my mother and father lived in my house because they have nowhere else to go. That is crazy. While I'm not against her new relationship, I did feel like it makes the current situation so much more complex, especially I need to take care of my baby while work full-time, and you also work full-time. Your parents sound like two children sitting at their children's. I know they're your parents. I'm not against that at all, but I just feel like they're using your kindness and your situation with the baby and everything, but disrespecting you completely. The reason why I'm taking care of them now, they pulled all my tuition bill. Okay, that is something that I would always be thankful for, obviously. But I don't like when parents, especially, they put in that guilt or pity over them when you tell them that they paid for your life, right? I mean, I feel like it's duty of a parent to give the child that they have decided to have, right, everything they possibly can. So they should not pity you for that. And taking care of them is not a bad idea, right? I would always take care of my parents. They would always are welcomed in my home, but this is not something that I would allow to ruin my boundaries and disrespect in my home. There are boundaries and limitations that need to be set in that sense. Do you know what I mean? They paid all my tuition bill, helped me my first mortgage. I already sold that home and got a new one completely on my own. They support me financially when they can, so I felt I need to support them back. Okay, makes sense, but I don't feel like they should pity you for that, because the way they act is like they're so disrespectful and they're like, well, we did all that for you, you must do that back. Yes, I agree, but to an extent of you being also respected, right? You work full-time, you have a baby. I gave them my credit card, pay for their living expenses, and also their leisure expense, travel, cruise, air ticket. And I have no complaints about that because they spent more money on me before. Like I said, I agree with the OP, but I feel deeply hurt by his doings. He simply threw everything on me right now. Example, he doesn't even know how to use a web browser and I need to teach him hand by hand, but at the same time he has zero trust on me. Example, he will change all his passwords immediately after I give him a new phone to him, kick me out immediately after helping me out to fill his documents. See, this is what I mean. This is awkward. I really need a place to vet out. I can't share this story with any of my friends, not even my spouse. He will be mad and kick them out of the house. I don't know how much more I need to tolerate. Yeah, it sounds like your parents are treating you like a personal assistant and then they're like, oh, goodbye. I just feel like a daughter shouldn't have been in charge of the parents' lives, their mistakes, and etc. You're currently juggling a baby, a full-time job, and you have your own responsibilities. I completely understand if you're trying to take care of them financially and etc. But when it comes to disrespect, I cannot tolerate that. And the fact that your dad doesn't trust you, that is so hurtful. That is so disrespectful. This is really, really, really sad. It really comes to probably having it probably comes to that where you both and all of you guys have to sit together and have an honest conversation, especially if your spouse doesn't know. You have to have a private conversation with all of them and explain that this is not something that has to be put in strain. Like, there's no pity for that, right? And if that conversation doesn't go well, it might be necessary to reconsider how much responsibility you want to take in this dynamic. Your well-being, your growth, your family is something that needs to be important, just as your parents' needs. So yeah, that's just my opinion, and I would love to hear your opinion about it as well. But let's get to some comments. I know it's hard, but you should stop living their life and start living yours by yourself. And then OP replies, they are bankrupt and used to live in another country. If I kick them out, believe it or not, I need to become their guarantors because they have no credit history here. They just sponsor them. Yeah, I sponsor them right now. Send them home. Guys, you on Reddit are so evil sometimes. It's so funny. No, you don't. You don't have to do anything for them if you don't want to. I know it's hard, but you need to focus on you, your spouse, your baby, not whatever that messy situation is. Yeah, like I said, you don't have to be this rough, but you definitely have to set your boundaries with your parents, have an honest conversation with them, and explain that this is not something that could keep happening. I hope I was clear on that. Alright guys, what do you think about this one? These were pretty hard. So yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Make sure you check all the links in the description below. I'm also on a second channel, so don't forget to check it out as well. I will be seeing you on my next one. If you have any suggestions for my next video, write them in the comments. For now, goodbye.